I'm Professor Sally Brooker from the Chemistry Department at the University of Otago, and I'm leading a Green Hydrogen Alliance with Germany, alongside my collaborator in Germany, Dr. Paul Jerabek in Hamburg. And so we're here to help explain what's happening with hydrogen. So what we've got here is something called an electrolyser, and it takes the water and some renewable electricity from our solar panel or from wind farm or our hydro scheme. And what it does is it rips that water molecule apart, and in doing so it puts the oxygen over at one side and hydrogen at the other. So we've got hydrogen bubbles coming into our reservoir here. And so this would be the commercial electrolyser, such as will be going in Southland with the Meridian and Woodside developments. And once you've got that hydrogen, you capture it in a tank, you can put it onto something like the Hereon truck behind me. And what you do then is pass it back through a fuel cell. And this fuel cell does the reverse of what happened to make the hydrogen. It takes the hydrogen that you've got in your tank on your truck, it recombines it with oxygen from the air, and when you combine those two, that releases the energy back out again. And in this case, as an electrical energy, we've got it running a fan, but of course it could spin your wheels on the truck instead. And the best bit is the only emission from that process is water.
And why is New Zealand so good for your hydrogen?
New Zealand's in a great place because we've got a really highly renewable electricity network already, and we have a lot of untapped wind resource both on and offshore, as well as untapped solar and tidal energy. So we could easily double or treble our electricity generation from renewables. And one way to capture that energy so that we can export it is to make hydrogen and its derivatives like ammonia or methanol or synthetic aviation fuels. And so we could become an exporter of energy embodied in those types of products. Also green steel, or indeed green aluminium as they currently make in Tiwai. It'll get greener going forward as they change their process a little bit further.
Yeah. What's the difference between green and brown?
Yeah, good question. So most of the world's hydrogen is made as brown hydrogen or grey hydrogen at the moment. All hydrogen is actually colourless, as you can see here, but the brown or grey is to indicate that it's a bit dirty. And the reason it's dirty is it's made from fossil fuels, either natural gas or coal. And so the emissions occur in the making of the hydrogen. So carbon emissions occur in that process. The beauty here is you're starting from water with renewable electricity, and so there are no carbon emissions in that process. So this is why we call it green, to indicate it's really user-friendly, renewable hydrogen with no emissions.
Okay.
And so if you want to use this technology to drive your big truck or your aeroplane or your train, it's really important that you're using green hydrogen, because that's a zero-emission process making it, and it's a zero-emission process turning it back into electricity. But so you don't have to turn it back into electricity to spin wheels and things. You can also use it in chemical processes, such as making a green ammonia or green synthetic fuels. And these are also going to be really valuable going forward, because we're going to replace oil, coal and natural gas by directly electrifying things, using batteries, using hydrogen, using ammonia, using synthetic fuels, using biofuels. And hydrogen is actually central to a lot of those latter products.
That's good. And I guess it's all early stages, but say 5 to 10 years, what do you think there?
Oh, New Zealand's going to go places fast. We've got Hereon Energy working on refuelling stations starting up here in the north for hydrogen, from green hydrogen. And down in the deep south, we've got HW Richardson, who are actually looking at dual fuel trucks and vehicles, and they're also going to put in refuelling stations starting from the south. So over the next few years, we'll get those refuelling stations in place, and that helps with the chicken and egg problem, because at the moment, why would you buy a hydrogen vehicle when you can't refuel it, and why would you build a refueling station while there are no hydrogen vehicles on the road? So we just need that process to start ticking over, and next year, as I say, the first refuelling stations will open in both the South and the North Islands, and so suddenly people can really expect to drive these vehicles, particularly the heavy end of the market, the big trucks.
Thanks for watching the video, and on this video you can learn more about the Hyundai hydrogen truck. And if you feel like it, please subscribe to the channel.